Last summer, a gardener in Phoenix harvested over 50 pounds of food from a backyard plot that got watered twice all season. Not 50 pounds of cactus, 50 pounds of actual beans, greens, and grain. Meanwhile, more than half the country was watching their tomato plants shrivel up and die in the worst drought conditions we have seen in over 1,000 years. The difference was not luck. It was the 10 crops on this list, and chances are you have never heard of half of them. Let's get into it. Number 10. Cowpeas. You probably know them as black-eyed peas, and you might think of them as a southern side dish. But these plants are one of the toughest food crops on the planet. Cowpeas send a taproot nearly 8 feet deep in just 8 weeks, pulling up water that your tomatoes and green beans could never reach. They use roughly half the water that common beans need across a growing season, and they still produce a full harvest of protein-rich food. Cowpeas originally came from West Africa, where they have been feeding people for thousands of years in conditions that would kill just about anything else in your garden. They also fix nitrogen in the soil, adding up to 150 pounds of nitrogen per acre. So they feed you and feed your garden at the same time. Grow them in zones 5 through 11, and they will not give you any trouble. Number 9. Purslane. This one will make some of you laugh, because purslane is probably already growing in the cracks of your driveway. Researchers at Yale University discovered that purslane does something no other known plant can do. It runs 2 completely different photosynthesis systems inside the same cells at the same time. One system works like corn, maximizing growth and heat. The other works like a cactus, conserving water by only opening its pores at night. The Yale team called it a kind of super plant, and the nutrition backs that up. Purslane is the highest plant source of omega-3 fatty acids on Earth, and it has 7 times more vitamin E than spinach. You do not need to water it. You do not need to fertilize it. You barely need to plant it. Just scatter some seeds, step back, and start harvesting in 3 weeks. Number 8. Amaranth. The Aztecs grew amaranth for 8,000 years as one of their most sacred crops. It was so important to their civilization that when the Spanish conquistadors invaded, they burned amaranth fields and banned its cultivation to break Aztec resistance. Maya women kept it alive by gathering it in secret. And there is a reason it mattered that much. Amaranth is one of the only grains that provides complete protein with all essential amino acids, including high lysine, which is rare for any grain. A recent study, published in a leading plant biology journal, found that under drought conditions, amaranth loses less than 40% of its photosynthetic efficiency, compared to over 50% for wheat. It just keeps producing, regardless of how dry things get. Planted at the same time, you would plant corn, thin to 18 inches apart, and harvest in 90 to 150 days. Number 7. Okra. Here is where things get interesting. Okra does not just tolerate drought, it actually produces more food because of it. Research published in the International Journal of Vegetable Science found that when okra experienced moderate water stress during its early vegetative stage, fruit production increased by over 100% compared to fully irrigated plants. You read that right. Less water, more okra. That makes sense when you know where okra comes from. It evolved in the Ethiopian highlands and the West African Sahel, some of the hottest and driest growing regions on the planet. The deep taproot it develops handles dry spells that would flatten your other summer vegetables. Plant it in zones 6 through 11 and expect 30 or more pods per plant with minimal fuss. Number 6. Tepary beans. If you only remember one crop from this entire list, make it this one. Tepary beans can produce a full harvest on as little as 3 inches of rainfall. 3 inches. Your garden hose puts out more than that in an afternoon. The Tohono O'odham people of the Sonoran Desert domesticated tepary beans 5,000 years ago and grew them so successfully in one of the driest places on earth that their tribal name literally means tepary eaters. The beans mature in just 60 to 90 days. They are packed with 24% protein and have higher mineral content than pinto beans. And here is the really wild part. They actually perform worse if you overwater them. These are beans that want you to leave them alone. Seeds are available from Native Seeds Search, and they grow beautifully in zones 5 through 12. Number 5. Sorghum. Sorghum is the 5th most important cereal crop in the world, and it feeds over 500 million people. It produces its first bushel of grain on just 6 inches of water, which is about half what corn needs. The secret is something called the stay green trait, a set of 4 genetic regions that tell the plant to reduce its leaf canopy before flowering, so it saves soil moisture for filling the grain heads. Combine that with roots that reach 4 to 6 feet deep and a waxy coating on the leaves that cuts water loss, and you have a grain that consistently outperforms corn whenever water gets tight. If you are finding this helpful, hit subscribe. We cover practical gardening and homesteading every week with methods designed to save your back, your budget, and your time. Now, let's talk about the remaining crops. Number 4. Sweet potatoes. Once sweet potato vines get established in your garden bed, they spread out and shade the soil like a living mulch. That canopy keeps moisture in the ground and suppresses weeds at the same time. After the first month or two, you can basically walk away and let them do their thing through the summer heat. A mature planting will give you 15 to 30 pounds of food from a single 10-foot row, and the orange-fleshed varieties are loaded with vitamin A. Grow them in zones 5 through 11, and do not overthink the watering. Number 3. Prickly pear cactus. Prickly pear uses a form of photosynthesis called CAM, which means it opens its pores only at night when the air is cooler and more humid. That one trick reduces water loss by roughly 80% compared to conventional crops. Both the flat pads, called nopales, and the sweet fruit, called tunas, are edible. You can harvest pads in the first year and fruit by year 2 or year 3. In warm climates, a single planting can produce up to 6 harvests per year. The prickly pear cactus appears on the Mexican national flag, and it has been feeding people across the desert southwest for centuries. For gardeners in zones 7 through 11, it is practically maintenance-free. Plant it, ignore it, and eat from it for decades. Number 2. Fig trees. Fig trees have a drought survival trick that looks alarming, but is actually genius. When water gets scarce, they drop their leaves entirely to stop losing moisture through transpiration. Then, the moment rain returns, they push out new growth and get right back to producing fruit. Their roots are famous for finding water in places nothing else can reach, working into rock cracks and deep soil layers to tap moisture you would never know was there. Archaeological evidence from the Jordan Valley suggests figs may have been cultivated 11,000 years ago, making them possibly the oldest cultivated plant on Earth. A mature tree in zones 7 through 11 will give you 25 to 100 pounds of fruit per year on roughly half the water an apple tree needs. Brazilian field research showed only a 23% yield drop with zero irrigation compared to watering every 2 days. These trees are built for tough years. Number 1. Jujube Trees. This might be the most underappreciated fruit tree available to American gardeners right now. Jujube trees have been cultivated in China for over 4,000 years, and once established, they only need deep watering every 2 to 3 weeks. That is roughly a quarter of what apple trees demand. They are hardy all the way down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. They tolerate poor and alkaline soils, and they produce 40 to over 100 pounds of fruit per tree, with virtually zero pest or disease problems. Fresh jujubes have more vitamin C than oranges, and they grow in zones 5 through 10. A single jujube tree in Shandong Province, China, has been producing fruit for over 1,000 years. If you are looking for one tree to anchor a drought-proof food garden, this is it.